Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan, and welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm a plant-based RN and I follow the Starch Solution. The Starch Solution was a program developed by Dr. John McDougall, and he wrote a book called The Starch Solution. It's a starch-centered way of eating to help you get healthy and lose weight. If you'd like more information, I will leave a link to his book in the description box below. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video, which is every Tuesday and Saturday. You can also follow me on Instagram at Chew on Vegan. And if you're new to this way of eating, or if you feel like you need some more support, or if you're just curious about this lifestyle, I started a Facebook group, and I will leave a link to that in the description box below. In today's video, I'm going to be making a chickenless pot pie soup. Before I became plant-based, I used to love a chicken pot pie. So good with that flaky crust on top, but you know, super high calorie density and doesn't really fit in with the way I eat now, especially since I'm plant-based. But I thought it would be delicious to make those same components and make it into a soup. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, using my Instant Pot. Of course, you can absolutely do this on the stove, but I love my Instant Pot. It makes things super quick and easy. So let's get started. All right, I have some water in my Instant Pot. It's on the saute feature, and I'm gonna add 3 stalks of celery, half an onion, about a teaspoon of minced garlic. And we'll let this saute till the onions and the celery are a little soft. So these have been going for about 5 minutes. Celery's starting to soften up. So I'm gonna turn the saute feature off, and then I'm going to add the other ingredients. So I want to add some spices. I have salt, poultry seasoning, garlic, and onion powder. I'll leave exact measurements in the description box. Then I'm going to add, this is a 12-ounce package of frozen mixed vegetables. I've got 2 russet potatoes that I've chopped up. And then I'm going to add a whole container of low sodium veggie broth. And you want to make sure that everything is covered with broth. I want to add a little bit more water to this because I want it to be a little bit more covered. All right, I feel better about that now. Then I'm going to add some tofu. This is totally optional. This is a block of super firm tofu that has been in the freezer. I took it out last night, let it defrost. It gives it a more meaty kind of texture. If I was making this just for me, I wouldn't need to put this in, but my husband's eating it and he likes a meat kind of a thing in there. So I just used half a block and I just tore it into pieces, and I'm just gonna add that to it. It doesn't really need it. If you don't want to use tofu, you don't have to. And I'm fine with putting it in because at least it's tofu and it's not chicken, so I'm all on board. Put the lid on, make sure it is on sealing, and then we're just going to do this on manual for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna let it do a 10-minute natural release. Then we'll release the rest of the pressure, and then I'll add the finishing touches to it. So the last things I do, so I had a few more things here at the end. About that much of greens, a handful that I finely chopped. I just feel it's important to add greens wherever you can, bump up the nutrition of it. Then I'm going to add a cup of plant milk because I want it to be a little bit creamier and have more of that traditional color of a pot pie. And then we need to thicken it up a little bit. So I'm going to use some arrowroot mixed in some water here. And we'll just let it sit and thicken. We can always add more. It will thicken as it cools. And it's important that you add the arrowroot at the end because adding it to the beginning during the cooking process will lessen some of the thickening properties that it has in it. You also want to taste it and see if you need to adjust any spices. So we've got our pot pie soup. And I ended up adding a little bit more salt. I also added a little bit more arrowroot and some red pepper flakes and some black pepper, just because I like the red pepper flakes in everything. So let's give this a try. It's very hot. It definitely has that pot pie feel with the carrots and the corn and the peas. It's perfect. Now this will thicken as it cools, so just know that. So you don't want to put too much arrowroot in to start, because then you might get a super, super thick soup, which if you like that, that's great. So I hope you give this soup a try. It's full of vitamins, minerals, fiber. It's low calorie density. It fits in perfect with the starch solution. So if you're trying to lose weight, this definitely will be a recipe you want to put in your rotation. I'm gonna mix a ton so you can freeze some and have some for later. So that's always a good option too. Remember that all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet. And what you put on your plate determines your fate and your weight. Until next time, thank you. Hi, Debbie Chu here. When I was, before I came, okay, bada bing, bada boom.